It's pretty early morning. Haven't slept so much, but you know the drill. It was an exciting time. Yesterday we've launched our app in production. So 𝘙𝗢𝗠𝗠𝗘𝗡 is officially live, and we've had our first users, our first 700 or so users. Let me actually check exactly how many users we have. Wait. We've got 726 users at the time of recording this. Which is cool. We've got a good deal of users. A couple of, a lot of, like yesterday was I have to say, I know the team is not watching this. They don't have/take the time for good reasons, but they're doing great work. I have to say they're doing great work. Yesterday we are, first I want to say we are ahead of the roadmap, which is a good thing. Ahead of the macro and micro roadmap. I think overall we are we're just happy with development with velocity, and it's not like we don't vibe code this stuff. We have to. Hi, my props. Great to see you here. I'm not sure on which time zone you are, but here it's sun is up, but it's still pretty early or late depending on how you see the world. Well, basically, it's Thursday, so we are pretty much midweek. Well, Thursday really hasn't started just yet, but we've hopefully all of the patches that were reported over to beta have been fixed, and now we have the free trial that's live, so you can go ahead and I'm gonna record a demo after. I don't know, maybe I need to get a haircut, I don't know. But whenever I feel a bit more awake, I'm gonna do a product demo for the free trial. And that's just live day, 700, whatever. Transparency dashboard MVP, that's what we're working on just now. A lot of patches that's continuously end-to-end test is actually live. So for those that wonder, we use Sentry as a way to trace all user errors from their trading terminal all the way to our backend. And that's gonna help us troubleshoot the bugs. Referral system is live. You can actually go to here and then generate a code, and then your code is appearing here, and then you can just use that code. And you'll see the number of people that sign up through your code. We can actually, well, I'm not going to try it out now, but you'll see who's using which code and how many accounts sign up through your code and all that good stuff. Obviously, you have your API key environment. We really just replicated everything, like free trial is also, even your free trial invoices are there. And the way it looks is you have to purchase a free trial, and you can get on the wait list. Here I don't see the wait list because I am on the wait list and I got approved. But if I were not to be approved, I would see a card here. We've also pushed the leaderboard. So this is the PNL leaderboard. Nice, we've got one that's named Fuck You All. We might, these are a couple of things that we obviously have to take into account. And you can see here it's like 227 traders. That means 227 people, I think, took up a trade. And then that means, out of the 720, that means we've got a churn of a third. Because that's also, we got a lot of bots, which is super annoying. On the waitlist as well. And that's also why today if you go on the website, you'll likely see little waitlist growth, because the traffic is going to be of much higher quality. The traffic is going to be, if you look at ProprXYZ, we took down the waitlist. Even if you look at /waitlist now, /waitlist, redirects you to the app. And then from the app, well, because I'm already on the waitlist, I don't see it. But yeah, that was it's one of those things where it happened, but then we've got so much more work to do now. A couple of things that's on our pipe. We want to do a bit more tracking on the analytics side. Typically, it's about how do we allocate the waitlist to the right people. And for example, we've turned off the email service yesterday on prod because we had a lot of spam. Yeah, today you can access the free trial more than once. So you can give it, we're using this as a way to stress test the system to know, okay, is everything okay with 220 whatever traders? And then we have the trading competition, which is where things get a bit more interesting. But we really want to make sure, before anything else, people use the platform and try it out and etc. It's just, I guess it's just important. So I'm trying to think, because I just woke up, just trying to think what's the things that are really urgent for me to tackle now. And always do, when I go to bed, I always have my day structured. The issue we have is I'm really looking at the Discord on a very frequent basis, because it's all users, and it's how I get a good pulse of momentum and just how are things. Maybe we will add new WebSockets on on the proper Discord. I think that'd be pretty cool. Whenever someone is taking up a trade, or maybe it would be interesting. Maybe send a recap on Discord about the activity. But today should be mainly about analytics. How do we have a bulletproof system so that we know who's a bot and who's not a bot. I don't want to have a waitlist with bots, otherwise the waitlist is just meaningless. And if it's meaningless, then we should have never implemented a waitlist in the first place. So like that is really important. For example, someone that does a great PNL, I know like this 𝘬𝘆𝑥𝑦Z is probably not about someone that like you have the 700, then you've got the 227 traders. So traders are people that have purchased a challenge, and so they've taken part in the free trials. That's already a great filter. So to me, it's out of the 227. What's the churn? I think that's probably half of it. So that half, or like a third of it, is probably bots. And out of this is where we'll take the good stuff from the waitlist. We already know in the waitlist we have full 500 people that are high quality, in the sense that they came before we did a lot of marketing on this, so we know they're pretty legit. Working Web3 always means that you have to have like a bot mindset, which is annoying because it's, for example, we had someone try to DDoS our infrastructure yesterday, like try to take our infra down yesterday, which is never fun. Like, it adds no value, but we just go at it. So today it's going to be about a lot of bot filtering, and then in terms of user experience, we still have a lot of. Let me check actually what got done through the night specifically. All right, so we've got some fixes that are about to be merged. And yeah, we still do have a chunk of stuff that's going to be waitlist integration is done. I think that is also done. UI fix. Okay. We have a pretty big UI fix coming up that adds a lot of small items throughout the app. But yeah, my goal personally is I need to filter bots as much as I can. And then once we have this, then I'll have a better understanding of, it's this and then the analytics MVP. So we want to tell, we've got this analytics page which we want to show the world. I have no clue if the results are going to be good, but I want to be able to show the pass rate by account, the net positioning, all that good stuff. So it's going to be, analytics is going to be the word of the day. Hopefully we have a good amount of that done today, and so you guys can see for the rest of, it's probably going to be this week or this weekend, and then you'll see. In terms of timeline, what we follow is strictly what we said we would on the last recap. is we have the training competition that's to follow shortly. Funded accounts going live shortly as well. That's also why we want to get the analytics done. Today we've got AAB booking algorithm done, but that was more on the quant side. Now we've got to figure out how do you plug this in real time to our backend, always in a way that's optimizing for like the DB queries and that stuff. Otherwise, things will just break apart. So it's exciting. Anyway, I don't look excited. You'll see it after the raise. Like, once we announce like the 300K and that goes well, I'm not going to be excited. Once we have announced that the full round is filled, I'm not going to be excited. I just know the road ahead is tough and long. And I'm only gonna be excited once we win a good chunk of the market share. Today, still got so much work to do. Now, on the market's gonna be super boring because just want to give some updates. We're close to all-time high. I actually don't know what our all-time high is, but I tend to believe, yeah, this chart is wrong because it's not taking into account the UPNL. I have to fix it. It's probably 5 minutes to fix. I just haven't, or 10. I haven't. You know what? Let's fix it now. As that's been an annoying thing to me. Let's try and fix it. I can't really show the code because that stuff is now. I've been advised not to show the code. We've got a ton of bots trying to abuse our system. Question about the signal on target still remains 1.5, right? So we could see a couple of volt. And the same wallets can fill different volts. That remains to be seen. What happened, one is, we know we need to raise capital because if we want to win a large market share, we need to partner with the best people, but that doesn't need to be today. It can be in 2 months. For example, some of the top traders KOL you see on the timeline, they would ask you for 50K USDC for being part of the affiliate program, which is high, but you have to take the lens of a marketing guy and think, okay, what's your LTV? What's your LTV is what's the lifetime value of a user that's on the platform? You can use the average challenge fee times the retry times the average retry plus the other sales that you do. That's your LTV. And then what's your cost of acquisition? So CAC, cost of customer acquisition, or like customer acquisition cost. So that's expensive, but we don't need now, and I would much rather. So where we are today is on the institutional side. Things are going well, but there are still some of the best people that are like, we want to see the product live, and we want to see, a bit more than this, and that's one of the reasons why I suppose we went live, and we said we don't need to raise that much, because reality is if you give me $1.5 million, some of that capital is going to sit idle, which is fine. And on the specs, we don't know exactly the specs of each round. I think it's likely going to be tied to the app. Like if you use the app and if you trade on the app, you'll be able to access the seed round and things of the sort. But that's TBD. We first want to do a successful first vault, then maybe one with Swissborg. We don't know yet. Anyway, let's try and fix this. It's been an annoying thing of mine. I actually know how to fix this. And I'm not going to use 𝘙𝘁𝗍𝗄𝗧 for this. What's happening is it's looking at the equity with realized P&L. Then you basically need a cron service to every minute fetch the UPNL from Hyperliquid. So now I need the script to, I think, refetch all the historical UPNL. So the tricky thing now is how do you backfill this? So you need to look at the entry and exit. Yeah, no, actually it's easy. It's easy, but whilst I've actually said not going to use 𝘙𝘁𝗍𝗄𝗧, I've just prompted Claude to ask what you would do. And just whilst this is working, I want to chat about the market, so we do two things at once. We had taken a long here. I'm not sure if that was yesterday or the day before, but we had taken a long up here, well, on the 20th. No, that was this year. So yesterday or like in the night or something, we've had taken a long, which we took off at 71,300. So not at the top, but close to it. Again, I'm speaking over it. It's like it feels, yeah, sure, we're closing winning trades, but you don't see it live. Please do join our Discord or the Telegram channel, which is 𝘪𝘍𝘍𝘁, 𝘪𝘍𝘍𝘁. You can search it on Telegram, I believe. And here, my mind is always going to be short biased because of the high time frame trends. I really don't, like if you take a long setup, like there are times in the market where there isn't much to do. And overall, you can feel a sense of complacency in the market, or people now are pretty convinced that, okay, crypto has shown relative strength, and now is going to be outperforming, or if S&P is bottoming, then crypto is going to rally. But I want to say this is a bear market, and one that's pretty brutal. So your setups need to be chasing down, and we are tricky position now is, well, I guess a clear trade you can take is, which I don't want to take so much, is 7-2 and then target range lows. That is, I think, the one trade you can take. If I were to say, okay, well, basically you're a bit greedy here, but I would take that trade. I think 72.5. We're claiming 72.5 on a Friday, and then weekends. To me, would tell you conflict is likely over, and then natural reaction is when the conflict's over, you'll probably have a rally on the S&P, and then crypto shows great strength. We know for a fact that most of the run-up is led by STLC and MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy bought here at 74, is led to this range breakout that failed. And we know we have this tool that we built, STLC BTC, which tell you that the VWAP pressure should start next Wednesday or next Monday, which means that the EV of going long is going to increase as time passes. So it's definitely a long setup I want to take. So I think a trade that's, I think that one is a valid trade, and then the other trades that are good is trying to anticipate the long, the STLC momentum, and then go long on this. Whatever this ends up being, I would maybe we don't get this, but I would take something around mid-range and then target range highs purely on the STLC momentum. I think there is a great trade there. Maybe you can go just long BTC, short an altcoin. As it stands on the challenge, we are flat. We have I'm just pushing to prod modification to the 100K to a million. My gut says we look at, like, we're down. I don't want to bid. My gut says next week is good time to bid. Not now. I see way too much complacency. People are pretty certain that this is a bottoming zone, and they'll just I think you take a dip to 64 and a lot of people pile in, which is a tricky area because sure, it's range lows, but then if people have too much certainty that 64 to 80K is a free trade, that's how you get steamrolled. And if anything, I think there's a good setup. But my mind is on. I know I'm never gonna take a long up here, unless it's clearly defined, which we took. We took a 10K win on this long from 69 to 71, which is not really my style. I have to say that was probably an execution mistake. Although the trade was good, reality is that was a bad trade to me, because that's really a no. I know the risk was fairly well defined. Like my risk was this, so we took it at 69, and then I wanted to exit at 68.5. Well, to take out exit, at 68.5. But realistically, if you zoom out high time frame, there isn't much for. I don't know, you can't really say that to me isn't a great opportunity. If anything, I think gun to heads, you just go short and target lower. I don't think a lot of people are shorting now. I don't think people are shorting heavily. The OI is at baseline. Spot is obviously not doing anything. If anything, it's just dropping. But to me, a lot of complacency. And we won't, I'm telling you, we won't do anything on the challenge until we either go to range lows or really resolve up. But it's gonna be this moment in the challenge where things are, to me, gonna be super boring. Trying to take every trade is really where you fail on the long run, and you just chop yourself out of hell. Yesterday, for example, at 71,500 on my hyperliquid account, I took up a short, which I closed immediately, so I round trip in fees quite a bit. But I just told myself, am I trying to force a trade here? And then it was just taking too much mental bandwidth. I'm also very much on the product side, and I don't want to take the markets too much. So if you're long here, you can really target a range breakout. I'm not going to be taking part in this. And even if the conflict resolves, what you have to understand is the only thing you can look at is the activity on the straight of Hormuz. And that tells you exactly what's the activity. And on Telegram, I've shared that that was communication from the Ministry of Singapore on the current situation, and the contagion in Asia is going quite deep, where you have people that limit the consumption of gas and energy. It's not as, you can't just, if you import a lot of oil and gas, you can't just switch provider from day one, because your infrastructure is just not ready to get new types of oil, because not all is equal. Some are more refined. I'm not expert there, I just know it's not as easy. And in Asia, it's by far one of the largest energy crises, and doesn't seem like the market's just priced that in. I view the market as being pretty complacent. And as we said, each taco now has a diminished effect, which means if something good happens, we know the upside is what we had here. So I'm definitely leaning more shorts than long, and I think the relative strength can fade really, really quickly. In fact, you could wipe out the relative strength of BTC on a one-day move if you have panic, which I don't hope for. But that being said, that would be a great time to bid and just to enter. Keep in mind, it's a bear market, so you have the time. I don't think we see any interesting move until summer, like during summer or after summer. You can see it, people are just completely checked out. It's not like people will just come back. These are things that take time. And I think there are still opportunities out there. That's on Taos. There's this Templar subnet that is up 8 8x or something. So there are still crazy opportunities out there. Wait, why do we have 152 as equity now? Alright, so I pushed a fix, which is which has wiped out my whole what did you do? Because my equity is definitely not this. Alright, so okay. Alright, so I'm gonna do this off stream just so I can focus a bit more. I've got no clue what this stuff does. Like, it's not taking the right price. Alright. Anyway, on this note, I'm gonna leave you guys.